Today I have a guest that is going to clarify for us a few things that is happening around Nigeria's foreign affairs and few other things. I'd like to welcome back to Inside Sources, the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Foreign Affairs and Protocol, Mr. Demola Oshodi. My brother, it's good to see you again on Inside Sources.
Nice to see you again, Laulu.
All right.
Love the bow tie.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So can you just help us give some kind of insight into how the president is thinking around the issue of the ambassadors? You know, a lot of people are worried, including myself and a lot of diplomats, that it's now 2 years that the president has recalled the ambassadors and we don't have substantive ambassadors in our over 100 foreign missions abroad. Can you just give us an insight what is happening, Mr. Demola?
Well, thank you for having me, Laulu. The ambassador situation is rather, I believe, a very strategic position taken by the president of the country. He has the prerogative to assign and appoint ambassadors.
Yeah.
Initially, there was I felt, or what was said by the Nigerian Foreign Affairs Minister, Ambassador Tuga, was financial challenges. We're coming through a very tough reform process in the Nigerian economy and ensuring that resources are put to the right places and prioritized. Right. So I believe that the administration has focused resources on more pressing issues, ensuring that we put in place things for infrastructure, security, food supply, and also ensuring that we have tremendous amount of resources, a backup, for shocks in the foreign in the foreign market. If oil prices fall, etc. So I believe the foreign missions have been part of this decision making, whereby priority has been taken towards domestic reforms. Ambassadors are very important. I don't play that down at all. But what Nigeria was going through with the huge amount of subsidy payment, the discrepancy in the forex, and of course, security. We cannot emphasize the challenges we face through security challenges. So I believe the administration focused on more imminent and more important priorities. It doesn't mean that there's a vacuum there. The president has been the number one, I believe, ambassador for this country. He's traveled the world, he's pushed for investments, he's pushed for security guarantees, he's pushed for collaboration, climate change. He's also been there for, in multilateral, meetings in ECOWAS and African Union, even, around BRICS, for instance. So very, very key things. We also have the fact that Nigeria has also sent out charge d'affaires to fill up a bit of the vacuum, not totally, to all these missions. So it's important that the public recognize that it's not a vacuum. There's still something there.
Yeah,
and it's okay. I can go on the Nigerian Diaspora Commission. They're also playing a role, filling in, looking after diaspora needs of Nigerians around the world.
Right. So, well, so because you're not the foreign minister, and then, I'm not going to press it so hard, but to say that the president even missed the United Nations meeting for the second time in 2 years, where you, as somebody who is in charge of foreign affairs, would you have advised him to miss those meetings back to back? And if he did, can you give us a guarantee that he won't miss it next year?
Well, I can guarantee this much, that the president is fully focused on foreign affairs. Laulu, I can assure you this. The United Nations is big. We want to be part of the Security Council, and Africa is, Nigeria is definitely one of the countries.
Because there's a difference when the president's on the ground, Mr. Demola.
Yes,
difference.
Yes, and there is, and I can't play that down. But the United Nations is not, as far as I'm concerned, as important as more pressing needs, even in ECOWAS. I will rate our involvement in ECOWAS for the security and also economy than pressing needs for the United Nations. Fine, we need our Security Council membership, but if we're having bandits crossing the border. We're having, smuggling of people, of arms coming in from the Sahel. We have Boko Haram going around the border. We have piracy in the coast. It's more pressing. I don't believe that the president takes United Nations lightly. Let me clarify that. But I believe he juggled his priorities and felt it was more important that we deal more regional and continental issues, and even issues of BRICS that are more pressing to our economic and security needs.
Talking about the ambassadors, are you saying that we're not going to have ambassadors until the second term? Because you said that there are financial challenges. A lot of ambassadors said, oh, come on, how much is it? How much are we talking about? So, I want you to be very, very clear. So how long are we going to have to deal with those challenges until we are able to have the ambassadors in place? Do you have any idea?
Well, the ambitions are in a bad state. The missions are, it's not just money to function. There's also money to pay off debts. That's very important, and I'm sure these diplomats understand that. So many of them, the embassies are, in a dire state. We need to bring them up to really good functioning state before we now have resources for just normal day-to-day business. Okay. I don't know when the ambassadors are coming. I've been quoted earlier this year to say it would be in a couple of weeks. So I don't want to go on that record right now. What I can tell you right now is that the president spoke about it a few weeks ago and said he was still fine-tuning his list and he was ensuring that there's adequate representation from all parts of the country. And he understood the importance of it. He spoke about it when I think the former Buhari people, the CPC people came to meet with him. So it's still something that is still current in his mind.
I don't think it was public.
It was in the news. I even Googled it prior to this my interview with you. So it is there. So he still spoke about it. I trust his judgment. Laulu, I trust his judgment. I believe he knows and the best time to bring the ambassadors in. I just don't know when. But I can tell you this much, that it's something that's still prevalent in his mind.
There are people, since you also talked about the importance of ECOWAS and that the president will rank ECOWAS ahead of the UN, there are people who said that it was under his watch that we lost 2 or 3 member nations of ECOWAS.
Just few weeks. It's just few weeks into this administration when the coups that happened. So things were getting frustrating before he came in. And he wanted to take a very decisive position. He wanted to there was even the rumors of invasion, of reversing things. Yeah. But I think
his critics say that that's part of the reasons why those guys were annoyed.
I don't agree with that. I believe those people, they got this Sahel military rulers found any justification for nationalism. Oh, they want to invade us, or the French, or is this the Americans, and they brought other foreign parties to come and help them out in their security challenges. And the situation is actually dire. It thinks it's worse. ECOWAS is trying to contain it, but that's how the situation is.
And it's interesting that I think you wrote a recent article in the Nation, where you talked about democracy and AI. Talked about a lot of deep fakes. And you articulated a position that Nigeria shouldn't just be a victim. Nigeria should try not to be a victim of AI. Nigeria should try to manage the governance, and let it help our democracy. So because of that, I'm going to ask you that. So is the president worried when you see all these fakes coming, especially from, I think, Niger and Burkina Faso, all kinds of, impressions that is widely, spread among our people,
Yes. You have to be worried about Laulu because the deep fakes and the AI-generated nonsense that is been generated, that has been promoted in the Sahel countries of Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, have become a security threat. Let me give an example. They invited Russians in to help them with their security guarantee, and they made it look as if
countries now? You're talking
Mali, and even Burkina Faso. They invited the Wagner group, which is now the African Corps, to bring security to their country. and they really glorified it. They made the Russians look as if they were doing wonders. They had great things that the Russians did, and it was a lot of it was AI generated, promoted through fake mediums, LinkedIn and Twitter. The Russians looked good. And TikTok. The Russians looked good. You know what happened in northern Nigeria when we had a protest? People were carrying Russian flags. You remember?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
They were carrying Russian flags because they felt,
because that was the impact of those.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the security threat itself. They were inviting some sort of foreign partner to come and get involved in the Nigerian problem. And this, in many ways, can cause disharmony and can also inspire people to take up arms against the country, against the government. So that's AI fake news coming out there in reality, tangible terms in Nigeria, carrying Russian flags in our country, inciting instability and inviting chaos. So the Nigerian government has got up with this AI strategy to ensure that we walk ahead of this, not just reacting, but walk ahead of this and ensure that we find ways to counter it from the beginning. There's this agency, I think there's this company called Duawa that has actually brought out experimental software to check and verify deep fakes and AI-generated nonsense going out on social media. It's a Nigerian organization. Even I think there's even one called the Nigerian N Atlas. It was introduced in the United Nations, ensuring that Onga, yes, that Nigerian languages are also available through the AI thing. We have a very young population, a very dynamic and very adventurous and very energetic, but it can
impressionable.
Exactly, and it could be dangerous. If they're not harnessed well, they can be used for good and bad. It's important we get ahead of them, ahead of things. I said, look, this is the exact thing that's happening out there. Engage you in this way, and then do not be fooled by that. Because this is becoming a big thing. Deep fakes, AI generated models, algorithms that make you look as if you are saying something different from what it actually is.
The reality.
And it's a security threat. It's democracy. 18 Nigerian African elections are coming up within the next few years, 1 or 2 years, I think. 1 year. 18 countries are going through elections in Nigeria, in Africa. And I can tell you that AI will play a big role in them. Disinformation, promotion of candidates, and general just trying to disinform or try to influence voters in one way or the other. This will cause disharmony, this will cause a threat, and rumors would fly.
So
anything can happen.
What's the countermeasure that Nigeria ought to be leading?
Well, I said the Nigerian government is doing a national AI strategy, you understand? And we're ensuring that we have things in place where the Ministry of Communication can promote to say this is how Nigeria should respond, whether it's legal, whether it's countermeasures online.
And then how to detect, like you said, how to detect some of those deepfakes.
Absolutely. And even there's this, again, the N Atlas, which is language related, so you can speak in Pidgin, Hausa, Tiv. So it's very important that we go ahead of this, and that's kudos to the government. But the key here is the fact that it's important we talk about it, write about it, and ensure that we're ahead of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a good way to segue to, since we're talking about foreign influences, some of which may not be salutary. So
Yes.
A number of politicians and even public commentators in the US have spoken about Christian genocide in Nigeria.
Yes.
I think it is, in my view, it's a fact that Christians are being killed, but not only Christians, Muslims, of course, Muslims are also being killed.
Yes.
And the Americans have chosen to focus on the Christians, so they're talking about Christian genocide. But if you look at it, we know that we have very serious security issues in our country. So I wanted to ask you that, first of all, what is your own perspective on how this ought to be managed? Because we already have suggestions that members of the National Assembly should go to US and all of that.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably just a jamboree. But what's your perspective?
First of all, saying Nigerians, there's a genocide against Christians in Nigeria is not only disingenuous, it's unfair, and it's very, very disrespectful for people and people that have experienced genocide before. You cannot compare anything to say genocide, compared it to what the Jews experienced in the Holocaust, to what the Rwandans experienced in their own genocide, or in Bosnia, especially with Srebrenica and the slaughter there, which was officially genocide, and recently in Palestine, where the United Nations says there was genocide being committed there. That's certified, clear UN international reporting genocide. When you throw the word when they throw the words genocide out like that, it's extremely disrespectful for the millions of people, they killed, slaughtered, pushed away from their land, and come back and say there's genocide of Christians in Nigeria. That's BS, honestly. And it's, the security situation in Nigeria has nothing to do with religion. They will kill Christians, they will kill Muslims, they will kill, traditionalists. It's for whatever reasons, whether it's for land or for water or it's for money, and right. The politicians in the West do this for their own domestic market, for their own domestic consumption, for their country, to say, well, you know what, we are rallying with the Christian groups in their country to say, look, we're supporting you, and therefore vote for me or give us funds. It's political, and they should collaborate with us and not condemn us.
Yeah, okay. Please finish your thought.
And collaborators in finding solutions, in giving us arms. When did the Americans start giving us arms? It was just recently. We started allowing us to fight these bandits, fight these insurgents in Nigeria. So it's very important that they put things in perspective and not let their own political, domestic issues translate into just pure nonsense and saying genocide.
Well, it's the same, if you look at it in that sense, it's the same thing that you see on the deep fakes about what Russia is doing in some Western African countries that you're also seeing in the mainstream media of what some of the Americans are saying. But if you ask somebody in Plateau or Benue, Mr. Oshodi, those places are dominated by Christians. The populations are dominated by Christians there.
Yes.
And the level of killings there, quite frankly, the governor of Plateau State have said is genocide. He didn't call it Christian. In Benue State, the top chief, who is a professor, by the way, has also called it genocide in the presence of the president. He didn't call it Christian. My point is that, shouldn't government be really, really doing some very deep reflections on how we can solve this problem? Because regardless of whatever it's called, people are dying. And it's been a long-lasting problem. I don't hold the incumbent president responsible alone. This is a problem that has been on for over a decade at very least. But now the buck stops at its table. Shouldn't the president become more decisive and just stop these things so that because in my view, that's the only way we can solve this problem.
Mr. Konde, you say just stop this thing as if it's like with a stroke of a pen.
We have to,
I understand the concerns, but I wish it was that easy. The budget on defense has gone up. There are more soldiers fighting, insurgencies, bandits in Nigeria. There's a huge security budget and presence on ground in places around, hotspots around Nigeria. Anybody would tell you that. It's more than the previous administration. So there's a lot of focus on it. There is. And there's a lot of results. There's flashpoints, there's, there are things that come up and people get massacred, unfortunately. But their focus, their attention on this administration and security is unparalleled compared to previous administration. And it's not just boots on ground, it's also intelligence. I can tell you right now, we have supporters from foreign governments giving us intelligence and helping us combat this, this insurgency, these issues on ground. So intelligence is big, so it's there. So it's not genocide. The herders coming in to Christian community, they happen to be Christian, you understand? And, I'm pretty sure statistically, there's a lot of Muslims that have been killed. It just happened to be a Christian community, unfortunately, you know. So it's to be seen on Caesarean grounds, to be looked at things and think, oh, it's a Christian Muslim thing. I think it's rather inaccurate. And the moment we start looking at it from a very objective point of view and say, look, it's just a general security issue, you know, it happens here and there. Yeah, the herders happen to be Muslims more. You know, they happen to be Muslims. There could be Fulanis, there could be whatever. They're Muslims. It could be people coming in from Chad or Niger, you know. So that's just the way it is. That's the coincidence of it. But it's not the fact that I believe, and studies have shown that it's not the fact that they're targeting Christians. Yeah, there's some issues of, you know, Boko Haram targeting Christians. There's even that attack in Korea, the church, and massacred a lot of people in the church.
Yeah,
that was
a war.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Sorry. That was targeted Christian killing.
Right.
You know, but to say
and there were quite a number of them, you know.
There is.
Yeah, but I also will restrain myself, you know, just because of the destabilizing, factor. You know,
Yes.
we don't want to destabilize this country. I believe that Nigeria should remain one. You know, I believe Christians and Muslims can work together. You know, we are both from the Southwest.
Yes.
It's not an issue at all.
Yes.
You know.
My mother is from Ibadan, you are from Ibadan.
Yeah, exactly. It's not an issue at all whether you're a Christian or Muslim. It has nothing to do with anything. You know, and I believe that we can have that kind of thing in Nigeria. But the time is fast spent, Mr. Oshodi, and I wanted to just thank you for coming to Inside Sources. Thank you for the clarifications that that you made.
Yes.
But please tell the president
Yes.
that we need him to appoint ambassadors. Please just tell him that, hey, Mr. President, I beg, do this thing. Thank you so much.
I will. I'll take your message. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for coming to Inside Sources.
All right then.